Hello, fellow Star Wars fans. My name is Star Raptor, and welcome to the channel. This is my spoiler-free review for Star Wars Jedi Survivor. This is the sequel to Fallen Order. This is brought to us by Respawn and EA, and I have played this game on PC, but it's also available on Xbox Series X, S, and PlayStation 5. So this game picks up with a nice previously on, which I really appreciate to a sequel for a game we haven't played. The first game in about 4 years. 2019 Fallen Order came out. So we get a nice little kind of bringing up to speed of what has happened. And it immediately sets us up in the middle of this story where Cal Kestis is walking around on Coruscant on this mission, and I love how it opens up because it's just like how it opens up with 1977's Star Wars A New Hope, where we're just right in the action, and we get vibes in this first sequence here on Coruscant in the underlevels that gave me a little bit of Return of the Jedi feels. So right away, as you see this game, as you're brought into this game, you could immediately realize, wow, there's definitely a reason here why they couldn't put this on Xbox One and PlayStation 4. Sorry for people that have been wanting to play this, but you know, the technology of the game at this point, just the reflections, the smoke, the detail in the Coruscant underworld, you're seeing just a beautiful lighting, and you're seeing all of the ships going by. It's crazy good looking. And what I like about this is there's no gimping of your abilities from the first game. So you end the first game, you have officially become a Jedi Knight, and 5 years later, all those abilities, your force grip, your throw lightsaber, your force push, your double jumps, your Jedi jumps, all that stuff is there. It hasn't gone anywhere, so you don't feel depowered at all. But there's plenty of new things that are introduced in this game to make it feel fresh. For instance, the mind trick is introduced. You have a grappling hook gadget. You have plenty of upgrades for BD as well. Also, the controls are very much tightened as far as combat is concerned, as well as traversal. Traversal feels very, very good, as well as adjustments to the holo map. So when you're going around looking for collectibles, which there are many collectibles in this game, you're going to notice it's a lot easier to navigate. You can put markers down, everything else. As far as the core gameplay, this is an action adventure game specifically with lightsaber combat, and they have gone above and beyond with including 3 more stanzas. The first game came with a single blade as well as double blade. Now in this game you have a fully featured dual blade spec, as well as cross guard lightsaber and a blaster pistol lightsaber combo, and these all have their own trees that you can put skill points in by leveling up, and they really feel robust. Each one of these lightsaber stances feels very fresh, very unique to it. They all have their advantages and disadvantages. I played around with dual lightsabers as well as the blaster lightsaber is so fun because it gives me that fantasy of being a gunslinger Jedi like Kanan Jarrus or somebody. So I absolutely loved just the going into a whole new spec, a brand new specialization of lightsaber combat. Also, there's a whole feature added for companion AI. So we have a new character with Boda Kuna, and you're going to get some other companion characters, which I won't spoil. But what's neat about these is that these characters are actually able to hold their own, but you also have a action on your controller to actually activate a cooldown ability, which is a basically like a crowd control ability. So it's going to be able to stun and help you out in combat. They aren't with you all the time when you're exploring in places like Koboh, which I will get to. They're not going to be around there. Also, there's a perk system. So now you have a certain amount of slots that are going to be able to adjust things, such as you can get a perk that will allow you to do more damage to somebody to stagger them before you can hit them more, or something like that. So, or more force ability, whatever. There's a lot of perks that you can pick and adjust and really get into your play style there. There's so many more enemy types. You have the Bedlam Raiders. You have the entire Separatist, basically, array of droids, from droid Dekas to Magna Guards to assassin commando droids, super battle droids, B1s. It's insane how many enemies there are. And they bring back all the prior enemies, like, of course, like the Scout Troopers and the Purge Troopers and many, many other things. So probably the biggest like enhancement for this game based off the first game as a sequel is this planet called Koboh, and it's the second planet you go to in the game, and you immediately realize how large, how massive this planet is, because you can come back here and go back here anytime you want. there's a saloon, there's like a little barkeep, and there's all these NPCs that you can actually talk to, get rumors, and they'll put stuff out on the map where you can go back out in the wild. It's a very much a frontier planet, which feels very cool, very Outer Rim. It is in the Outer Rim, so it feels very cowboy-esque. And it's really just neat to get to know the people, the patrons of Pyloon's Saloon, which is run by Grease. So it's neat to really get into, and you feel almost like, I felt like it was almost like Mass Effect, going back. Every time I go on a mission, I come back from off planet, I'm going to go talk to some of the people in the bar, see how their life stories are going, and there's always more conversations to be had. Plus, there are vendors. So as you're out throughout the galaxy, you're going to get things like pyrite and some other planetary type of commendations that can be turned in for things like cosmetics or things like perks. So there's plenty of good reasons why you want to go down the unbeaten path, especially on Koboh, which is very wide. There's so many different areas, and you can just stumble upon things where you'll suddenly run across a Rancor mini boss that's not even part of the main storyline, and that's where this game feels really large, when you're able to just go around and have a good time. And that's when you come up with these water cooler type stories that you can tell your friends, like, oh, I was running around here and all of a sudden I ran into a Rancor over here, or I ran into a Mogu, which is basically like a Wampa on Koboh. So lots of fun to be had there, and this is definitely like one of the major features. Also, there's plenty of other activities you could do when you're not wanting to hack and slash through many creatures and enemies. They have gardening, so throughout the game you can get seeds by slashing these plants, and you can grow a garden on the roof of the saloon. There is bounty hunting if you want to go track down Haxian Brood people, and there's something called holo tactics. So they brought even more use to scanning enemies that you kill for the first time. They are then uploaded as units to Holo Tactics, which is just a kind of passive game where you put out units. It's like a rock, paper, scissors, shoot kind of thing, where the AI is putting out units. You put out AI units and you just watch them fight, and you can earn cosmetics from every person you defeat there. Also, I mentioned cosmetics. This game has completely revamped cosmetics from the first game, where all they had were ponchos. You can get a poncho in this game, but there's a lot more cooler things that you'll have versus a poncho. You can change facial hair of Cal. You can change the actual hair. You can mix and match outfits. So let's say I have, this Outrider outfit. I can just keep the Outrider jacket on and put like Luke Skywalker's black shirt underneath of that, and then put Han Solo's pants on underneath that. So there's a lot. It's not just a simple blanket statement outfit. You can mix and match parts, so the combinations or permutations are really, really great numbers there. Absolutely love seeing that. Also, the story. Let's talk about the story without giving too much away. This is a game about survivors, and it's not just Cal that's a survivor. You got other characters that are going to fall into the place. I feel like the dialogue, the writing, the acting in this game is incredible. Of course, you have great performances by Cameron Monaghan, Deborah Wilson, and Noshir Dalla, who's playing Boda Kuna. But there are so many twists and turns in this, and I was engaged the entire time. I will say there is basically like an Empire Strikes Back level twist that I didn't see coming, and just when you think the game is over, it goes on for like another 5 or 6 hours, and I absolutely love when video games do that. They kind of subvert expectations. Oh, I think this is the big bad. No, turns out it isn't, and here's why. Also, there's lots of different kind of canon that's brought into play, from the High Republic to the Obi-Wan Kenobi series on Disney+. There's lots of elements taken in, so they really did their homework as far as, let's see this as a universe that is being surrounded by a lot of other things. But yes, the only negative I can give are, obviously, you probably heard there's some technical difficulties. I'm playing on PC. I didn't really have any other issues other than, sometimes the cape just gets really big for some reason. It's a graphical glitch. It does not affect my gameplay at all. I've been running this at a steady 90 to 100 something frames per second, running on high settings. So I'm doing fine. But I understand if people might want to wait a week or two, because they have been putting out patches already, and I really haven't noticed much stability. So with this game, I got to give it a 10 out of 10. I got to give this game a 10 out of 10. If you guys have been watching the channel, I don't give out 10 out of 10s like candy, right? So I really make sure I try to see how transformative this is. And if you're just looking at this as a Star Wars or as a regular video game sequel, it does everything that a sequel needs to do and improves upon basically every single system that was introduced in the first game. in spades. It really just goes above and beyond, and even adding completely other elements to the game, like the companions, like Koboh is a more open world, like the customization. And then if you look at it as a Star Wars story, it is one of the greatest Star Wars stories told, definitely in the Disney era, and probably one of the top 5 Star Wars stories I might have ever experienced. It's that good. I'm putting it on a pedestal of like up to the movie quality of storytelling, because the way this story goes, the way it got to me, I got emotional playing this game, guys. I really did not expect it to do those things. It does not pull out any punches. The stakes are super high, and this is the dark times, right? This is not like, hey, it's things are going well all the time. No, there's some serious stuff that happens here. But what I love the most is the writing and giving motivation and complexity to these characters, where they're just not all black and white. There's some things in here that these characters are dealing with, which is striking to me. And with that, I'm just so happy that Lucasfilm, EA, Respawn have put out this game, because it definitely is the best Star Wars game for me. I mean, maybe you might like shooters more, maybe you might like real-time strategies more, but I mean, a lot of us are always looking for what makes Star Wars, and that is Jedi. And this is the quintessential Jedi lightsaber game you could ever play. Oh my gosh, it feels so good. They've really got down the combat, force pushing, force pulling, throwing your lightsaber, just the contact, you feel it, the vibration of the controller every time you hit contact with a lightsaber or a staff or anything like that. It just feels really good, really natural. And then when you do lose, it's not like, oh, there's a glitch with the game. Like, you feel like, okay, I screwed up, like I'm gonna fix this. So it's really fun to get into these combat encounters, and I just can't say enough good things. I'm gonna be thinking about this game probably for the rest of my life. I mean, it was just that good. There's a new game plus, so I'm gonna be jumping into that. To be transparent, I've completed the story. I've not 100% of the game for the first time. I'm playing on Jedi Knight difficulty. There's also Jedi Master and Grand Jedi Master or whatever. So I will probably play them eventually, but this game is difficult towards the end, even on Jedi Knight, which is like the default medium setting. So there you go. What did you think of Jedi Survivor? Are you planning on picking this one up? I can't recommend it more highly. I absolutely loved this video game. Let's talk about it in the comment section down below. For more on Star Wars, you're already in the right place. Just go ahead and subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon so you'll be notified when future videos go live. That's going to do it for me, Star. Thank you so much for watching, and may the Force be with you always. Thanks for checking out the video. Please hit that thumbs up symbol. It helps me know that I'm making content that you guys enjoy. And if you enjoyed this video, I also include 2 videos down below you guys should check out. And please consider subscribing to this channel. It helps support me, and it notifies you guys of when I get new videos up on the channel. You can also contact me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram @StarRaptor.